exist. Choose. Ma'am, could you hear me? No? Somehow very strange that my voice is not heard. I had this problem previously. Audio.
Hello.
Yeah, I could hear,
Yeah,
ma'am. Could you hear?
now you're audible. Yeah.
Shalom, Jinali. I am happy to see you. Peace be with you. And this is the very first class that we have on spectroscopy, and I wish you success. I was happy to hear your voice over phone. We had a few conversations over the phone, and I am very happy to note that you have great zeal to contribute to the good of the society. As you
Thank
know,
you, sir.
Nobel Prize is the top honor given to noble people that have really contributed something exceptional to the society in science, especially in science, in chemistry, in medicine, in physics, and for peace. After that, economics was also added, even though it was not there in the original will of Alfred Nobel. Economics is also added to the fraternity of other branches of science and peace. Recently, we see Nobel Prize being awarded to exceptional people that have done good to the society. When I have heard your motivation to do PhD is to contribute good to fellow human beings, I was very happy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Starting is necessary. Starting will have many difficulties. I wish to start our course with a motivating song. Of course, it is in Telugu. You can hear the beautiful music first, and then we will continue with our spectroscopy. Probably, I hope I can share the screen. It's a beautiful song that I like and that gives me motivation. Okay.
Okay.
ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో
Could you hear?
Yes, I'm able to hear.
Could you hear? Jinali, are you calling? I want to share the screen. Are you able to see my screen? I want to.
I'm able to see you, but not your screen.
I want to share the screen.
మొదటి అడుగు ఎప్పుడు ఒంటరే మరి వెనుకవచ్చు వాళ్ళకు పాటైనది ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు నడవరా ముందుగా అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు
I want to share the screen.
ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు నడవరా ముందుగా అటో ఇటో
Could you see the screen, Jinali? See? Screen?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Yes, I'm able to see the screen.
Could you hear?
Yes.
మొదటివాడు ఎప్పుడు ఒక్కడే మరి మొదటి అడుగు ఎప్పుడు ఒంటరే మరి వెనుకవచ్చు వాళ్ళకు పాటైనది ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు నడవరా ముందుగా అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు కదలరు ఎవ్వరు వేకువ వచ్చినా అనుకొని కోడి కూత నిద్రపోదుగా జగతికి మేలు కొలుపు మానుకోరుగా మొదటి చినుకు సూటిగా దూకి రానిదే మబ్బు పొంగు చాటుగా ఒదిగి దాగితే వానధార రాదుగా ఏదదారికి ప్రాణమంటూ లేదుగా బ్రతకడానికి ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు నడవరా ముందుగా అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు చెదరకపోదుగా చిక్కని చీకటి నిలుగురు రెక్క చాటు చిన్ని కాంతికి దానికి లెక్కలేదు కాళరాత్రి ఎదది ప్రమిద నిలపని నవ్వు జ్యోతిని రెప్ప వెనక ఆపని కంటి నీటిని సాగలేక ఆగితే దారి తరుగునా గాలి చూపి తీరనే దరికి చేరునా ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎప్పుడో అప్పుడు నడవరా ముందుగా అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు అటో ఇటో ఎటో వైపు
Thank you for patiently listening to the beautiful song. It has a great meaning that because we are alone, we should not stop moving forward. A journey
Yes.
which is difficult always starts with a single person. Because no one has written yet, the sunrise will not stop. Irrespective of whether we are awake or asleep, sun rises and sets as usual. Likewise, a crow do not care whether we are awake or asleep. As usual, it crows early in the morning. This is what is called consistency, and I expect consistency in our course, even though we are one. And the song is in Telugu. I am very sure you have not understood the meaning, but you know, music is a universal language, and I
It's a
appreciate.
beautiful song.
Yes, because music is a universal language, it conveys the message more stronger than words. So I am very sure that you enjoyed the beautiful music, no? This
I
song is, yeah, this song is from the movie called Ankuram. Ankuram means when we have a spring, you know, a new sprout, new beginning. It's a new beginning, you know, sprout, the spring, you know, it's so beautiful. God's creation is so beautiful, you know. Jinali, I have the blessing to be in Israel, to be in Korea, to be in China, and especially in Korea, I enjoyed this Ankuram, what is called spring. You know, all around, there will be beautiful cherry blossoms. Okay, especially during the season of February and March. I was hardly there in Korea, South Korea, for 12 months. But I carried many sweet memories, for a lifetime. Likewise, I was in Israel for 6 long years. I do not know how to explain the screen. Yeah, I will switch on the screen. Could you see the change in the screen, Jinali?
No,
I
you
showed,
are still sharing the screen, but I'm not able to see the change.
I put a new share. Okay, I put new share. Yeah. Did the screen change? Could you see?
Yes, now it is.
Application of
Yeah.
spectroscopy to chemical research. Yeah. Yeah. Jinali, apart from science, I have many things to share with you that will help you advance in science. What I mean to say is science being taught through life experiences. I have faced many problems, and the problems I faced in chemical research for the past 20 years taught me many solutions, taught much spectroscopy that I can share with you. Probably, you might have been facing some problem in your research. Research is not an easy task. I used to have a very good teacher in my PhD. His name is Professor B. Vishwanathan. He is now 81. He used to display a small quote on the board, on the wall in our lecture room. The lecture room will be like this. Of course, you do not have a complete view of the lecture hall where I am sitting. This is analogous, similar to the lecture hall where I metamorphosized into a potential research scholar in IIT Madras. Subsequently, in 2010, I am blessed to move to Israel and to work with a giant, a wonderful scientist, a famous and renowned scientist, where I further matured from a scholar into a scientist, a scholar into a scientist. Subsequently, those were indeed tough times. 2016, a 6 long year battle is completed in Israel. Research is a battle. I told there was a genius professor, the teacher that taught me chemical research methods at IIT Madras, Professor B. Vishwanathan. He used to display a quote on the wall in the seminar hall or a hall like this, where I am sitting, where yourself, Khyati ma'am, and myself will be uh, learning in the next few classes in person. I'm very happy today that, we have started, beginning itself is a difficult task. Once we start, I'm very sure the inertia will be less. The impediments will be surmountable. There will be difficulties, when we journey. But if at all we start our journey, there is a hope that someday we will reach our destination. Fearing the journey, we should not postpone the journey itself. Even 1,000 miles of walk starts with a single step. Okay, a great achievement as great as winning Nobel Prize starts with a single person. It all started with Alfred Nobel. He's a rich person. He could have used his riches in any other way, but he has decided that he would use the riches for the benefit of mankind. He has a very noble heart like you. I'm very happy to see you. I see a very potential scientist in you. I'm very sure you are much younger to me, and the problems you have faced in your personal life and career are comparatively much lesser, much lower than what I have faced. So I have much to share with you that you can use in your life, in your research, in your career, as a teacher, as a professor, as a scientist in future, to guide, to shine forth light in the lives of many students. That's what I have achieved from my teachers, sitting, simply sitting with them in the seminar hall for 1 hour imparted much wisdom to me. That is how I have learned. That is how I have achieved. If I were to have 44 publications today, if I were to have one Indian patent and 4 patent applications to my credit, and a book and a ebook and many other books being compiled, it is all because of the association and the time I spent with very, very dedicated and disciplined teachers. Discipline is very important for success in the career of a scientist. As a PhD scholar, you are expected to be disciplined in attending the classes, in carrying out the research, in publishing the research papers. Okay, research papers show how hardworking we are, how disciplined we are. We are supposed to transform our knowledge, our wisdom, our experience, our dedication, our hard work into research papers and show to the world that indeed we are contributing to the society. If we compare Indian science with science being carried out in China, you will be surprised. India is nearly half a century behind than behind China. Half a century is behind China. Do you believe India and China are neighboring nations? India and China have analogous population, 1.4 billion Indians, 1.4 billion Chinese. But China has made remarkable progress in almost every field, space exploration, science, technology, genomics, medicine, biology, physics, astronomy, name any field, geology. The stronghold of China is geology. Geology. The Chinese are knowledgeable, especially in geology first. They wanted to explore the surface of moon. What is the chemical composition of moon? How different is it from Earth's geology? So when they have sent the satellite to moon, they had a special device to experiment on the material that is present on moon. It could not be soil, it could not be silica, it could be something else. Whatever it may be, the Chinese want to probe the surface chemical composition of moon. Essentially, there is no substitute to spectroscopy, First of all, they should have XRD and some kind of spectroscopic technique in their satellite. Only then they will be able to catch the images of, the material on the surface, the chemical composition on the surface. There lies, our contribution. As chemists, we have much to contribute to NASA. As chemists, we have much to contribute to ISRO. As chemists, we have much to contribute to space exploration. And the limits are, indeed endless. China has advanced so much in space exploration, so much that, it is using nuclear powered energy sources for space exploration. China has succeeded in demonstrating that we can even have alternate sun by succeeding in the demonstration of holding the process of nuclear fusion for 30 seconds. So we have to learn much from China. How? Fortunately, do not think that I am underestimating the advances of Indian science. Do not think that I am showing India down. There is no, offense in confessing our weaknesses. Only when we realize our weakness, we will have the potential, we will have the knowledge to advance further. Okay, by seeing China, I have learned much from Chinese, China, if it were to publish 1,000 research papers in carbon fibers, for example, a single topic based on carbon fiber research per year. Okay, Indians are publishing 10 papers on the same subject. This is only one example. It can be energy sector, it can be materials field, it can be spectroscopy, it can be invention, it can be innovation, it can be exploration, it can be analysis, any field. Why? Why? The answer is the potential of youth is not utilized to the fullest in India. The power India has is the youth. Our youth has great potential. India is the youngest nation compared to any other world nations. Japan is getting older. Likewise, China is getting older. US is getting older. Most of the European nations are facing economic crisis. India has greater opportunities provided. The youth are given opportunities, to excel. See, the universities, the existing universities are deficient of teaching staff. When there are no potential teachers, how can the students learn? How can the students excel? In China, soon after a PhD scholar like you completes his PhD, he will be provided with an employment in an academic institute. There are many universities, there are many national laboratories. In a place like Vadodara, if we want to have 5 universities, China has 50 universities or national laboratories like, State Key Laboratory for chemicals production from biomass, State Key Laboratory for photovoltaics, State Key Laboratory for biofuels, State Key Laboratory. Name anything and everything, they have a State Key Laboratory. Where are such laboratories here? Unfortunately, the government farms in India have failed. The private farms are doing better. As scientists, we have much to contribute. Going forward with the message that we should not stop our journey because we are only one. Okay, a long journey, a difficult journey starts often with a devoted person that has strong will. If Britain were to have a strong hold on Africa today, how do you think the African nation was completely mapped? It is because of the missionary zeal of one person by name David Livingstone. Many have feared to travel the path that is filled with much darkness. Miles to go before I sleep, miles to go before I sleep. The woods are dark and deep. David Livingstone did not stop because the woods are dark and deep. He continued all alone, exploring South Africa, and that has paved the way for United Kingdom to do many developmental activities. If the natural resources in South Africa were to be so much utilized, explored, exploited, it is because I say because of the pioneering work of David Livingstone. Like Curie, I expect you to do some groundbreaking research. Do not think that 8 years is a short time. Within a short span of 8 years, Marie Curie won Nobel Prize in 1903. Likewise, in 1911, the same scientist, Marie Curie, she did not get outdated, she did not get exhausted, she did not grow older. From 1903 to 1911, it's only 8 years. She has hardly 8 years in her hand. She did not nap, she did not sleep, she did not rest. She pursued. and she discovered polonium and radium, and that made her win second Nobel Prize in entirely different field, in a field called chemistry. In 1903, Marie Curie, rather I say Madame Curie, the scientific community held Madame Curie in high esteem. It is because of her perseverance, it is because of her dedication, it is because of her hard work, it is because of the light that has shown to the world. She entered into dark room and found that indeed her apprehension, or rather her hypothesis, or rather her prediction is true. Pitch blende. From a pitch blende, she could hardly isolate micrograms of, radioactive material and prove to the world that indeed the radioactivity is not because solely due to uranium, but it is because of major contribution from two unknown elements that are far more higher radioactive than uranium, polonium and radium. What do they have? Her husband has invented, a kind of electro balance, a kind of simple electro balance Curie had. That is the only possessions she had from her husband, Marie Curie. They did really remarkable work with such primitive analytical tool. Today we have many analytical spectroscopic techniques. We have FTIR, we have FT Raman, we have NMR, we have EPR, we have, extended X-ray fine structure. We have OJ spectroscopy. We have XPS, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. Many, countless number indeed, of spectroscopic techniques are at our hand. Why are we not able to do the kind of research that our, torch bearers have, conducted? It is simply because we do not have the zeal, we have the potential, we have the resources, we have the problems, but simply we do not have the zeal to advance further. We should have the scientific perseverance like Marie Curie. We should have the scientific zeal like, Carl Berry, Sharpless. I think you have heard the news lately, on October 5th, just 1 month back, on October 5th, there is a good news, there is a good news from Stockholm. Stockholm is a place where Nobel Prize will be awarded in honor of scientists that do path-breaking research. Sharpless is one person who is analogous to Marie Curie, who is analogous to Linus Pauling. I say Sharpless is more than, I do not know whether he is more than Linus Pauling or if he is more than Marie Curie. I cannot say he is greater than either Linus Pauling or Marie Curie, though he has won 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry. Winning 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry is easy, but winning 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 distinctly different fields like physics and chemistry is harder. Winning 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry and peace is much harder. Winning Nobel Prize in 1903 is not comparable to winning Nobel Prize by Sharpless today in 2022. So, Marie Curie and Linus Pauling stand on the pinnacle. Okay, even though I do not have any personal grudge with the Sharpless. As a catalysis scientist, I know Sharpless epoxidation. As a scientist, I honor Sharpless. But in spite of having all the luxuries, we are not able to break the record of Madame Curie. We are not able to break the record of Linus Pauling. Linus Pauling is known for chemical bonding. Marie Curie is known for radioactivity. Sharpless is known for epoxidation, catalysis. Sharpless is known for what? Sharpless is awarded the Nobel Prize lately. Bioorthogonal chemistry is the field where Bertozil, Caroline is awarded for bioorthogonal chemistry. Sharpless likewise is awarded Nobel Prize for again again, it is something related to organic chemistry, you know. It is something related to click chemistry, something called click chemistry. Okay, you should never forget click chemistry. Sharpless was awarded Nobel Prize for click chemistry, how to fuse organic molecules selectively to minimize, you know, wastage of atoms, atom efficiency, you know, how to convert, you know, how to do chemical reactions more selectively, more efficiently using click chemistry because of the contribution of, you know, another European scientist from Denmark, Danish scientist. Who is the Danish scientist that was awarded Nobel Prize with Sharpless and Caroline? His name is Meldal. Like Jeldal, you know, if you remember Jeldal, as chemists, we remember Jeldal.
Yeah.
Meldal is, you know, sounds synonymous, sounds, you know, rhythmic with Jeldal. Meldal is another scientist that was awarded Nobel Prize. So we have much to learn from them, you know. Jinali, Sharpless, you know, while he was working in Stanford University, he never thought that, you know, I'm an assistant professor, you know, I'm assistant professor, so why should I carry out my experiments in the lab? Why should I work with my hands? Should I record a spectrum with my hands, being, you know, an assistant professor in Stanford University? Jinali,
Hello.
yeah, you know, very curled, sharpless. But then working, it's history, you know, not now. He's an accomplished professor in the US in a very reputed institute now. Then, you know, I do not remember the year. While he was, you know, assistant professor in Stanford University, he was working with, you know, some kind of NMR tube. You know, NMR is another potential spectroscopic technique, Jinali. You know, NMR is such a potential spectroscopic technique that it could not be substituted with any other technique, as I know. Likewise, you know, FTIR is such a beautiful spectroscopic technique that it cannot be substituted by NMR. What I mean to say is, each of us are very unique, you know. Your thumb impression is not mine. My thumb impression is not yours. God made each one of us in a very, very distinctly different way. Likewise, I say each of the spectroscopic techniques are distinctly different with a unique potential. While FTIR spectroscopy looks at bond vibrations, you know, NMR looks at, you know, the spins, you know, protonic spins, proton NMR, 13C NMR, name any nuclei, you know, in the periodic table. Of course, I have not heard anything about transuranium elements having, you know, some kind of NMR activity. But, you know, name any periodic table, any element in the periodic table. Now we have NMR spectroscopy. To that extent, you know, nuclear magnetic resonance